Hello everyone, this is BIOL250. I'm going to be videotaping my lab number 3 for Biology 250. And here is a quick survey of the room I'm working in. I'm working out of my bedroom since my family is in the living room enjoying a movie right now. So I unfortunately do not have an assistant to help me out at the time. Here's what I do have is the list provided for the class. I have illustration number 1. I'm going to show here that is for the skin. I have illustration number 2, compact bone. I have a pointer that I will use. This is a skeleton to help further illustrate. And I also borrowed my daughter's Ken doll to illustrate some of the muscles as well. So I will have to pause the video here and there to get set up. And we'll get started with the first portion, which will be for the skin. All right now set up for illustration number 1 in the skin. And this layer right here, that's going to be level of the basement membrane. Then veins here, you'll have your blood vessels. And broken up into portions on the side. First area right here, sorry, better on this side, the shadow, epidermis. And then second layer, that is going to be right from here to here is the dermis. And then finally towards the bottom here is the hypodermis. Inside you have your keratinocytes. And let's make sure your melansonites. And sorry to go back on the epidermis. Let's see here. That is keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. And then when we talk about, let's see here, the papillary layer, that is your loose connective tissue. And your reticular layer, connective tissue with reticular fibers. Now then if we break it down further to the your stratums. All right, so trying to here on the side, your first one, your stratum corneum. Second being your stratum lucidum. Point out that pretty well. Third, stratum graniculum area. Fourth, stratum spinosum. And then we're going to the stratum basale. What I did illustrate here is a hair follicle, and then over here, that is actually going to be a sweat gland. And what the sweat gland does is that is your thermoregulation of the body. You can see it right there. Let me turn it a little bit better. There's a sweat gland going up to the top. And in 1 second, I will switch over the illustration to compact bone. All right, all switched over now. This is my illustration on compact bone. Apologize, I'm definitely not an artist, but did the best that I could here. So we're starting in veins. You have your blood vessels within there. And then next, your canaliculi, be right in there. Third, you have your central canal. I tried to illustrate that up top here. You can see the central canal. It's actually going to be this area right there. Next, moving on to, you have your circumferential lamellae. So that is out here on, make sure I get that right, over on these ones right here. And then your concentric lamellae, which are going to be those ones right there. And next, I'll make sure I hit everything on the list here. You have, the last one I did, your lacunae. And then right here in the yellow, that is going to be your nerve. And then I made sure to illustrate, you have your osteocytes. Sorry. And then on this kind of peeling off to the side there, that is your periosteum. And now I'll switch over to the skeleton. All right, now moving on to the bones and muscle of the head and torso. I'll start with the bones first and then demonstrate the handful of muscles that we have on there. So let's start with the back here on the vertebrae. So we're going to start at the top. You have your cervical vertebrae. Now that is looking at C1 through C7, right? So we have 7. And then your next is going to be your thoracic vertebrae. And we're looking at T1 through T12, giving us 12 total there. Next, you'll move on to your lumbar vertebrae, L1 through L5, giving us 5 total there. Very bottom is where our sacrum and coccyx is going to be. We have 5 fused in the sacrum, and the coccyx you have 4 fused as there as well. Next, going forward, we have your switch to the front diaphragm, and then your frontal bone. A frontal bone, let's go to the top. Frontal bone right up here. Your occipital bone, and then your parietal bone. There's on the side. Kind of get all those ones covered. And then the hard one is actually in the back when you have your hyoid bone. And then you have your mandible bone, maxilla. Trying to get these all in frame here. Nasal bone. The occipital, parietal, your sternum, sorry, when I said sternal, temporal bone, and your zygomatic bone. Right there as well too. I'll move over to Ken here on some of the muscles. Let me switch for that. All right, let's cover the muscles here. External abdominal oblique muscles being on the side there. Rectus abdominis muscle, or the back. I hope we get that in frame. Sternocleidomastoid muscle, right there. And then make sure I get the last one, your trapezius muscle. Trapezius is going to be right there. And making sure that's everything on my list there. And I try to make it as fast as possible, and hopefully I got the camera angle good enough to illustrate there. And thank you for your time.